Solutions is a wellness center focusing on the treatment of the whole person. They want to help you live a longer, happier, and healthier lifestyle, offering services in medical and behavioral and wellness. Joining us to tell us more about the services and options that they have are Jason Chippeaux and Heather White. So thank you so much for joining me.
It's great to be here.
And I think we should start by, saying what's the difference between behavioral and mental health? Like, how can someone notice that you have one and maybe not the other?
Sure. I think the first thing to recognize is the difference is really kind of academic, right? It's when we speak about differences, we don't experience them at the experiential level. Mm-hmm. So for instance, when you have a fever, you feel a bit depressed. And so the experience is an integrated experience. Practically, we tend to live life as an integrated whole. And so that's why we're an integrated wellness center at Health Solutions. We recognize that people come to life and the experience of life as a unit. Now, having said that, behavioral health typically involves thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and your expression of those through your daily activities of living. And so when we think about behavioral health, we tend to think of your emotional state, we tend to think of your thought processes and your thinking habits, and we tend to think of your behaviors.
Okay, so then what is mental then?
And so mental might be thinking like when you're depressed.
Okay.
The narrative that plays through your thoughts sometimes influences the way that you're feeling or behaving. For instance, if you wake up and you don't feel like there's a reason for you to get out of bed, or you feel like you have nothing to offer, or you feel like you're worthless, and that's the narrative that's playing in your mind, that's going to influence not just how you behave, but also how you feel, and that can be physically or behaviorally or mentally.
Okay, and I know a lot of us just, as Americans and people nowadays, we deal with a lot of anxiety. But for someone who isn't ready to come in and get help yet, what are some ways that we can treat anxiety at home or deal with it, I guess?
So anxiety has a lot to do with the stress of, back in many years ago, the stress of maybe a tiger chasing you is that anxiety and that flight or fight that you would get. So we don't have that now, right? So we have increased heart rate, our breathing increases. So the number one thing would be to decrease your heart rate. We can't do that automatically, but deep breathing, focus therapy, imagery, those type of things, yoga, meditations will help bring your heart rate down and therefore help with the anxiety.
Okay. So I have anxiety, but for me, if I concentrate on my breathing, I almost become more anxious. So yoga would be a great way to kind of forget that you're having all that panic.
Right, and positive self-talk, talking yourself through this, I'll get through this, I can get through this to the other side. Yoga, again, meditation, something to get your mind off of what you're focusing on for the anxiety.
Right, when you're focusing on the negative, you need to focus on the positive.
Absolutely.
I love that. And for someone who is, ready to, they recognize that they do need professional help. How do you recognize that you need that officially?
I would say if it's affecting your activities of daily living, if it's preventing you from doing things with your family, friends, social events, things that you enjoy to do, it would probably be a good time to go in and just talk to somebody. And a lot of times they'll say, I don't know if I'm in the right place. Better to be there than not and figure out if you are in the right place.
There's no shame. Let's take away that stigma.
Absolutely.
And could these kind of issues end up leading someone to have like physical health problems?
Yeah, they certainly can. The relationship between how we feel and how we behave and our physical health is very, very much integrated. And so you take an example of someone who's experiencing a severe depression. If you don't feel like getting out of bed and making a nutritious meal, you're gonna suffer from malnourishment, and that can have physical consequences. Or if you don't feel like getting out and exercising and walking around, or if you don't feel like brushing your teeth or taking care of your body. So the overlap is pretty significant. The research is also showing a pretty significant overlap between pain disorders and depression. And so the chicken or the egg, which causes which is sometimes difficult to segregate out, but certainly the relationship's there.
I thank you guys so much for coming in this morning. I know we just brushed on, this amazing topic, this very important topic that you should have no stigma about. And if you're interested in health Solutions confidential healing programs to help you lead an improved life. Go online to www.healthsolutions or call them at 719-545-2746.